We are recording now. Excellent. Thank you. Whoever that was that enabled that recording, that's fine. Okay.
Right. So, I mean, I was just thinking this morning, who would have imagined that a year ago when we were saying Kinnot, that we'd be having the extra, the change at the end where we usually sing. And this was especially for the victims of the 7th of October onwards. Very, very emotional this morning. Nethanel was born on the 28th of Adar Rishon 5764, 1st of March 2003. As it happens, exactly 21 years to the day later, we acquired our first apartment here in Nethanel. He was the youngest of 5 siblings, and it's very interesting, the character with, and we've spoken to so many people, lone soldiers who've come from France and England, how the characters match so much. He had problems at that age when he was younger of having low esteem, having friends. He was having ambitions to do really well at something, and if he didn't come to the top, he gave up. And it's just amazing how so many lone soldiers, all the lone soldiers are very much the same sort of characters, and how they change so much later on. From a very young age, he wanted to go in the IDF. His brother was in the IDF. He fought in Operation Cast Lead, right on the front line. That was his oldest brother, Daniel. And Nethanel in school, in his careers book, when he was about 14 or 15, he said how his ambition was to go in the IDF. It's very difficult to see what else he could do. He didn't like school, and as I say, it's just amazing how the other lone soldiers are so similar in that respect. By the year 2012, he already had 3 siblings living in Israel, and after COVID, he applied for Garin Sabah, but he was told that by Garin Sabah that was not for him. But he was very, very determined, and he was accepted in Machal. Now, in October 2021, he came to Israel to go on the Machal program, and it was the day after our daughter's wedding, and the first night, Sheva Brachas, was at our house. And Nethanel was very nervous, but here we can see if this works. I've never tried this before. Hopefully this works.
I managed to already, and this big boy, the big baby, is going to go to Israel tomorrow. A few years ago.
The same as Harris and Michelle are doing tomorrow. I think it's perfect.
Good luck. For advice. I'm here as well. I've got a job in Israel. Yeah. For
So yeah, Nethanel went to Israel. He went into Machal. He quickly got new friends. It's absolutely amazing. And considering he didn't really like studying, somehow he managed to pick up Ivrit very, very quickly in that time, and he got new friends. He wasn't one into rules and regulations. That we have very much the case in when he'd been in school, and as a result, he was thrown out of Machal because he broke one of their rules, and he was then absolutely devastated. He'd really learned a lesson of a lifetime for sure. He was very, very upset, and he was absolutely determined. He tried everything to get back into the program. They wouldn't have him. And then, cutting a long story short, he managed to get into Golani 13. In the meantime, he went to he worked at Kibbutz Grofitz, which is near Elat. He didn't like that at all. He then worked in the Hilton as a concierge, which he liked very much, and he did some amazing things. We learned afterwards he did some things in his spare time, which we didn't know about. He made a whole book, a guy's book about the best places to eat and whether they were kosher or not. And he actually did this on his computer and he used to give it to the customers then. We didn't know anything about this until we went to visit the hotel later on. He went into the training in Golani 13. And then I went last July only, we went to the Tekes, where his final swearing in, which I can show you on here, I hope. He was very, very proud of being in Golani. He'd been given the special gun, which only about one soldier in 30 gets, one in each unit gets. As you saw there, the commander, he had that special honor of the commander giving him his beret as well. He was so proud. He was very excited that we were going to come to live in Israel, and then we're making Aliyah. And after a short period where he was actually serving in the army on guard duty, he spent last August, this time last year, he spent with us in England. And he kept showing us apartments online. He was just down to find the right apartment for us. We also went to Wales. We had a fantastic time, thank goodness. And he really was quite a special person. And he really ran into somebody very, very special. As I say, like the other lone soldiers like himself, very similar stories from elsewhere. The acts of chesed and the way he helped people was absolutely extraordinary. I don't think we've got time to go into detail on that right now. He showed respect, and he both gained respect and he showed respect, which was absolutely amazing. He went frequently to our local Chabad rabbi to put on tefillin. He wasn't Shomer Shamras himself, but the rabbi was very concerned that he should put on tefillin, particularly as in the army, as protection. And he went, and when he went, he often had other friends with him who almost never put tefillin on before, and they put on tefillin thanks to Nethanel as well, sometimes almost for the first time in their lives. He got very well known in DJ Eni, he called himself. And when he was at the Hilton in Israel, some people actually recognized him from YouTube, and they said, "Wow, is that DJ Eni?" So already he was becoming quite well known. And he had an ambition to become very, very, very rich. How he was going to do it, I don't know. With any money he had, he gave away, and in fact, tremendous acts of chesed. The stories that we've got to do with him not having much money, and he bought a flight ticket for someone who was in trouble. They paid him back afterwards, but it's just amazing. And he had hardly any money to do that with. He wanted to buy his mother, particularly, a big house with a swimming pool. And he loved his siblings as well. I just wanted to share with you something with his nieces who are wanting to share. So that was something. So on Shmini Atzeret, 7th of October, Nethanel was on his army base Iftach. Iftach is near the Gaza border. What's the name of the little town it's by? Is it? Pardon? Zinkin, is it? It's a little town there. It's within 2 miles of the Gaza border. Worried for his sister Gabrielle, who lives with her husband and young children in Ramat Aviv. He called her because he saw these missiles coming over very, very fast. First of all, he tried to call us, but being Shemini Atzeres, we had our phones off. We didn't know. We saw there was a call taken at 6 o'clock. He tried to phone us, so he phoned her. She answered. She was going to go to the safe room, and I've got it here, which I'd like to share with you. Some texts which took place between Gabrielle, his sister, and himself. She had 2 children. Oh, it's blurred. You see, that's all right. That's the actual text messages.
Yeah, they just run them thing, they don't take much. It might be going in, I don't know. That's not fire. But idiots was running my brother's time. Indeed. Read the girls' bedroom. Okay, I'm good. They are arriving.
Well, the girls were okay, good. They're aiming for the centre. So they had no idea what was going on. And then it carries on. It says, chilling and thinking of you with the heart, that's Gabrielle. Nethanel says, thank you, chilling and thinking of you. Nethanel says, and Gabrielle says, thank you, keep safe. And then Gabrielle says, you keep safe and extra gear on. Keep me posted. Nethanel says, will do. I'm here if you need, says Gabrielle. Even if you just need to call, you can try again. And there's hearts and things. And Nethanel replied, okay, we'll try soon. And then he says to Gabrielle, there's something to cheer him up. Remember why you're in the army. Lots of love, thanks, says Nathan. It says, any updates, asked Gabrielle. Hey, bro, I saw that Hamas infiltrated Israel. Is that right? Message. And then he says, message me when you came to say okay. And then much later in the evening, Gabrielle said, brother, can you see my messages? So that's the text messages at the time when this all happened. A while ago, we visited the army base at Iftach. From the 7 surviving members of his group, of which there have been about 30, the IDF explained on site what is known to have happened. It was partially censored. We didn't at that time get to some of the things we knew later on when we spoke to his commander. But based on what we knew at that time, this is roughly what happened. There was a female IDF soldier at the watchtower. Hamas had come in from the sea and land. At that time, the base was completely surrounded by undergrowth and bushes. So Hamas were camouflaged and they could see the IDF and exactly where they were. But the IDF couldn't see them. The IDF had to shoot blindly at the terrorists, not knowing where they were. Even so, there were many killed, many wounded. We'll never know how many Nethanel might have killed or wounded, but he was absolutely a top guy in the army. He was highly trained with the special honors. As I mentioned, he had the Negev gun, only awarded to the top 30. Obviously, the IDF hadn't reckoned on this type of warfare, unfortunately. So all that high training, but hopefully he saved some people with that, what he did on the 7th of October. We've had a lot of support from people. It's quite amazing. For example, despite what he was going through at the time, around the 7th of October, soon after the event, Ruby Chen, he phoned through to our daughter, who knew our daughter, to check and find out how Nethanel was. And that's just an example of, we could write a book on the amount of support we've had. Nethanel tried to be in the commando unit as well. Since the 7th of October, a lot of money's been raised in his name. He said he wanted to raise money to have a swimming pool and a big house for his mother particularly. And people have been learning Mishnah in his memory, Gemara. absolutely amazing support from the UK as well, from London, French families, my wife's family in France, Israeli embassy, soldiers who didn't even know him. The amount of money that's been raised in his memory is probably, I don't know how much it is altogether with all different organisations. This is just one soldier of so many. Just amazing how much money's been raised, and it could even be enough to buy a house with a swimming pool. I don't know. So I've got a choice at this point of one of two things. We can show a part of the Levaya, or we can take questions and answers. We might have time for both. I don't know which way people might want. Pardon? Okay, I'll show some of the Levaya. Let's scroll through to this. Just bear with me for 1 second. I think it's on here, I hope. Just bear with me a moment. In the Levaya, you might hear some sirens, so don't worry about it. It's not live. Where is it? It's gone. Is it gone? Okay. I get all the back. I hope it's this. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is the full version. 1 sec.
נתנאל, אנו נעשה כל שביכולתנו על מנת להשיב.
Sorry, I'm just going to move it slightly forward. It's very, very long.
ישראל פרידה מפי האח אליוט.
Which is Nethanel's middle brother, the two brothers.
So I don't know if that was supposed to be a limit on people or not. But thank you very much for not listening. I could spend hours on thank yous, but I would just like to say thank you to everyone for coming, all the messages you have sent, or read all of them, for the overwhelming help and support for friends, family, and community. I want to thank the IDF who has helped us with us 2 days and started going on. Many other people who have helped us get information, people who sadly got the horrible news. I'm not sure how me and my family have gone through these days without you. Nethanel, defender of Israel, family boy, DJ, and the fun uncle Nat. I'll definitely get this. Nat said from the age of 10 or 11, I want to serve in the IDF, I want to defend Israel. He had such a deep connection to the country. Even when he was, 12, 13, when I first moved to Israel, he would, if there had been an incident, he would call me up, upset, and really want to talk about it and understand what's going on. And even at that age, I got the sense that Nethanel was pained at just having to watch the news and not being able to help. I was thinking about how I could most easily explain how unique and special Nethanel was, and my mind was constantly gone to the last day I would ever spend with him. It was on the Shabbat, the first day of Sukkot. exactly a week before he passed away. A couple of days before, Nethanel told me he was out of the army for the weekend. When would be free to see, when would he would be free so he could come and see his nieces, my daughters, and Hello. I told him that we had planned to be every sister, Sarah, and Malad for the time. As a long shot, thinking there was no way an exhausted 20-year-old soldier was spending the weekend in a free luxury apartment with a friend in Jerusalem. We're going down to Malad to hang out with his brother's very large family in law. I told him we'd all love to see him if he wants to pop in. He said, yeah, maybe I'll come around 4. He turned up exactly 4 o'clock with his infectious smile that everyone who knows Nethanel recognizes, and the usual big hug he always greeted me with. As he sat down on the couch, my nieces and nephews were in awe of him, and he was so proud and happy to answer all their questions about serving in the IDF. We then had a huge game of Nerf. I don't know how to explain what that is, but I don't know. I think involving around 10 children, I think a few neighbors, followed by another Elliot Nat tradition, a game of Settlers of Catan, this time with my older nephews. After Shabbat, we went to Nethanel as Nethanel was due to have his a long stint on the base. We started hatching a plan of how I could get pizza delivered to his unit. And of course, Nat said, I think we can find a way to get you to bring them and see me. Sadly, that never materialized. Nat and I, despite our age difference of 13 years, we joked around a lot. We like to try and flick each other's cheeks and ears and play fight, for example. And we often just had silly things we said to each other that make sense. And I can't give examples because I'm too embarrassed, but we found these things funny. Of course, as I became older, bigger and stronger, and I became older and remained just as skinny, he became the better one at picking cheeks and play fighting. Anyway, that night, sitting in my together, Nat had initiated the deep and meaningful heart-to-heart, which we sometimes had, which led to, which I won't go into too much detail, which led to him bringing up with me what seemed like burning questions around religion in Israel and things happening in the world and the country. Of course, so he could really spend a good amount of time with me, he made sure to get the last bus home and not a second earlier. I then walked to his bus stop and we had a traditional big goodbye hug. It's similar to the hello hug, but just a little tighter and a little longer. And that's the last time I saw him. I have countless stories and I look forward to telling them over the next few days. But this last day with him encapsulates Nethanel perfectly. A man extremely proud to defend his country, someone who values his family above anything else, a super fun and slightly cheeky boy, who also had debt and knew there were times to be serious. Time time to have fun, and sometimes a time to just step back and think. The next day, his last day off before his big stint on base. Again, Nethanel could have just had a rest, or when I was with friends, he made his way to Tel Aviv, spend his day with my sister Gabby's girls this time, Liel Mini. All 4 pieces, love and will sorely miss on that. Such was Nethanel's white smile, charm, and pure cheek that we always wanted to help him out. As one example, when we went to see Abayashov Benji's house, the lone soldier house where Nat was living, I noticed 2 TVs in Nethanel's room. I asked him why he needed 2, and he said, I had this one when I'm moving. And when I mentioned to someone in passing that my TV does feel a little bit small, they came around later with a far bigger TV. There are many stories like this Renat didn't demand anything, but everyone just wanted to do something for him. And I just want to add, Mom and Dad, I was reflecting the last 2 days on us as siblings, how different we all are, and how we've doing different things. And that's now is a tribute to how we both always, as parents, recognize what we needed in our childhood, our teenagehood, and adulthood. And we are so lucky to have such amazing parents. I want to finish by saying we are thinking of praying for all those injured and missing in this world, and families going through what we are going through. We pray for the speedy recovery, the speedy, safe return of our soldiers and our injured people of Israel.
His level of the good M honoring one's parents was something that I'm still aspiring to. I will really work hard on this merit. Throughout the last 20 precious years, I've watched Nethanel grow up from a cheeky little boy to a strong, brave, and national hero. Although there are 18 years between us, we were still very close. When he was a baby, I would play him garage music. And as he grew older, he loved to DJ that music as an adult. I didn't even know where he knew that music from. And I remember on fun car drives as I took him to school on the way to work. And we would tell each other jokes and listen to our favourite songs together. I enjoyed seeing him develop strong passions for music, dogs, fashion, trainers and sneakers, sports, and most of all, Israel. As he grew older, he started giving me fashion advice, and I gave him advice about life and what we should do, and especially when he was asking me about whether to come to Israel, as well as girls, career, and ultimately his decision to move to Israel. During those years, he always had a dream to defend Israel and the idea of Ha. And when he was finally old enough to move here on his own 2 years ago, he left his beloved dog, his DJ equipment, his shoe collection, and everything that he loved behind, just because he wanted to join the idea as soon as possible, as soon as he was old enough, to defend our beautiful country. He arrived and managed to continue to follow his passions by dog sitting, working out on the beach, getting a job as a DJ in one of Tel Aviv's most famous clubs. And most of all, he managed to join the IDF. He found true happiness in Israel, and it was infectious. That selfless kindness is so rare, and I aspire to be as kind as him. As a soldier with very few days off, especially being tired on those days off, he always made time and the effort to come and see his nieces. He'd show up at the door with his big smile and lift the girls up in the air and bring gifts and surprises and spoil them, even when he only had 1 day off. And although my daughters and Elliot's daughters only knew him for a few short years, these memories will last forever and ever and keep us positive, and they'll never forget him. I remember recently for Rosh Hashanah, we received a gift card from Shaila Fag with a few hundred shekels on it from the army. Most of us will probably be busy deciding what we're going to buy, what clothes we're going to buy, which gadget we want for our kitchen. And he didn't even think twice. He called me and said, "Oh, I got this gift card. What shoe size are the girls? I want to get them some cool trainers." He just wanted to spend all his spare money and everything that he got that was like an extra privilege on his nieces and on other people and his friends. He just wanted to spoil them and make people happy. That's just the kind of person he was. It's just one example of many. And he could just put a smile on everyone's face and make them happy. I hope that these stories we can all aspire And we find it inspiring to treat each other like Nethanel treated others, and honor our parents, how Nethanel honored his. May his memory be a blessing and his precious soul reach heaven quickly. I still can't believe my brother's gone, and it will take a while to sink in, but he died happy and living his dream. I really want to thank the IDF and Ms. Bitachon for all their support 24/7 during this time, as well as all the friends and family who have been helping us. And I pray for all of you.
Josh, just want to say that now I really know what it means when Nethanel was speaking of the Golani family. Which he kept speaking to us, he joined the Golani family, and the way we've been treated and the whole way we really understand what the Golani family really means. I'm going to just try and say a few words in French because the family here from France, c'est événement. Just wanted to add one other thing. We're leaving now the community we lived in London to make Aliyah, and what we've heard from in England, it was Simchat Torah only yesterday, and people, they really, unfortunately, it seems a lot of people really felt that it was always like a period of mourning, which is very sad, and I'm only sorry that the news came out as early as it did relating to Nethanel, because rather they didn't know until perhaps at least after the HYD. And we're very, very touched by all the messages that have come from both the South Hill community where we've lived and from elsewhere as well.
Well, I've got not much more to add, but I don't think my heart hurt so much that even tears can't explain my pain so deep. So any mothers, I think, will understand. So my pain is for the other soldiers, all the other soldiers who died or were kidnapped. It's such long life with so much bright future, cut short. But Nat achieved what he wanted to do, and he was happy. Each time he phoned me, he had a big smile. He was so proud. He wanted to show me his face. He showed me his gun. He loved his gun. He showed me, and he usually is the mother educates his child. He educated me in trainers, in all the different guns, and so he educated me. Mother educated him. He was such a wonderful son to be with. He was a mad personal shopper. He was the best person to go shopping with. Anyway, I can see the change the army brought him. He really brought the best out of him. I think the army valued him for who he really was. And he developed even his command as officer said, so much progress. And I think he proved to himself he could be whoever he wanted to be. I told him, Nethanel, never let anybody say you can't do anything. If you want to, you are such a special person, you can do anything you want. Anyway, we are very proud of him. And I'm very proud also of my other children who have been amazing. And I think as a mother, I can't ask for more better children and my extra children, which I call my children, which are the husbands and the wife of my children, which is they're not in-laws, they're my children as well, and they're something amazing. Now, part of me died, that's for sure. I'm not going to be the same person. Okay, but for my other children, I will try to remain strong. And I keep my spirit in his memory because I know he won't want me to be miserable. He wants me to be happy. He wants me to carry on having his smile. So I will smile for him. I will be happy for him. I will crack jokes for him. If people think it's not very good, maybe don't know, but I was trying to be, it's going to be very hard because I won't have him. He's going to be underneath. I won't have him. So, anyway, en français, c'est que vraiment, je vais expliquer ma douleur. Ma douleur est tellement profonde qu'il n'y a pas de...
So, I don't know if anybody might have any questions or anything they want to, anything they want to say at all. Yes, yeah, Gabrielle, yes, in Ramat Aviv, yes. And she had 2 children. She was expecting twins, and we now have 4 children. We've actually had, since Nethanel passed, in the space of 4 weeks, from 23rd of December to the 4th of the 3rd of February, we had 4 new grandchildren, including, so we have 8 granddaughters, 7 granddaughters, and our youngest one is our first grandson. So we've got a lot of positive things. Any more? Anyone else got any questions?
I think we're all just stunned, really. There are no words, really, except that we're proud to have you as part of our community. We feel your loss, not like you, of course, but we feel it as we feel everyone. During the early days of this war, I was busy running around being part of the election nonsense that I got roped into. Thank God I wasn't elected. But that part of that duty was to go to many funerals. I went to far too many funerals. And the strength and the emunah, the faith of everybody that at funeral that I went to, which we saw here as well, was just quite phenomenal. The fact that the families like you, who've sacrificed, made ultimate sacrifice. And yet, here you are, making Aliyah just a couple of weeks later. And what was really noticeable was when you came to shul, you were the one that was singing. You was the one that was uplifting the community. We wanted to uplift you, but you uplifted us just by your presence, by your smile, by your singing, by your absolute faith. And all I can say on behalf of all of us is we salute you.
I wanted to thank everybody. We want to thank everybody, of course, for the tremendous support. Support was something which suggested that they speak so much, concentrate on Nethanel ourselves today. But there's an enormous amount to say about the amount of support we've had from all over the place, including with this community as well, which we like very much. Of course.
Women have to have a
Oh, yeah.
So, Rabbi Lieberman, I want to thank you because, and also a lot of members of this community, when we just came to Folleg, somebody lent us their house, so we joined the community, and straight away you reached out and you wanted to help us. And I think it's very special. And we had that from the community as well. And really, we felt straight away everybody wanted to be with us, comfort us, and do anything we can do to make our aliyah or settling in easier. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart because it really meant a lot to us. And that's why we stayed around. We're not in Europe, we're not far, but we stayed around and we're so proud to be part of your community and AMM community.
Anybody else? Any comments or questions? We've got 10 minutes to mincha.
I got one or two comments then. I thought it would be 10 to 7.
It is 10 to 7, but you can say whatever you like.
No, I just wanted to say, you might have noticed, for example, on the video there, I noticed that it's the first time I've really seen the Levire, actually, apart from scrolling to find the time since it happened. It was the first time I've really seen that video. And I noticed just behind where we were speaking, there was one soldier who was really in tears. But it's just amazing because that's an example of somebody who didn't know Nethanel at all. You know, you would have thought that she knew Nethanel, but she didn't know Nethanel at all. And we've got so many examples of all different stories of people who didn't know Nethanel. We had about 150 people at the Shiva house each day in the morning. They just wanted to know about Nethanel. People come from all over. People came sometimes just because of what happened. It came sometimes about particular connection because they'd lost somebody even due to cancer or something, a young member of the family 5 years before, people we didn't know. We had somebody nearby who rushed up to us and said, look at this picture of the newborn baby. And they didn't know us, and they had their son as around the corner. There's a son who had Brit Miller that day and decided to call him Nethanel. You know, we've been in contact since. In fact, we happened to see Yom HaZikaron, and they came to visit them at Saber, actually. We didn't know they would be there, and they came especially to visit them at Saber. And there was a young boy who came, who did know Nethanel, and he came all excited at the Levire. Very few of his friends were the Levire, because we're all in war, of course. And he was very, very excited. He said, he says, if I get married and have a son, I'll call him Nethanel. Really, excited. It's the sort of thing we got at Heathrow Airport, which was emotional enough for us because we knew Nethanel would always be excited about us coming to Israel. One trip we made from Heathrow Airport, the first one, I think, after this, I think it was actually immediately before when we came to the Levire, I think it was, there was an Israeli we didn't know at all. She saw we were in some sort of distress, and we told her what happened, and straight away she burst into tears. The IDF themselves, the amount of support that they've given us, and they actually walked onto the plane when we arrived with our daughter from Ramat Aviv. Actually, she came onto the plane, and our eldest son, and they supported all the way through the whole process as well. The support we had locally, we had Stephen Pack, who very kindly let us use his holiday home just around here. Many of you know Stephen Pack, which made a tremendous difference in us making Aliyah. And in England as well, we had somebody who let us use their house before we moved over here, because we just sold our house. So that's just examples more. Yeah, when Nethanel was in year 6, that would be when he was 10 years old. His class in school were it was Bet Shvidler in Edgware, northwest London. His school, his class were invited to go to Downing Street to the Prime Minister and light the Hanukkah candles. It's just one class every year, and it happened to be Nethanel's year. And he was very excited. We have should have thought of it. We got photos of Nethanel talking to the then Prime Minister David Cameron. So somebody from the school was talking to David Cameron after this had happened, October the 7th. And David Cameron was so impressed that he wanted to invite us, especially to light the Hanukkah candles at Downing Street. So they flew us over to do so. And we had a private audience with David Cameron, and we spoke to him for about 10 minutes about things as well. And at the time, he did seem to very well understand and take words out of my mouth. So he knew what was happening. He knew about UNRWA and what they were like even then. And there's been much worse come out since we saw him as well. And at the time, I had a lot of confidence that actually he really did know very much how things are and how things should be and how Israel's being treated. Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah, when he was 13, I think he was 13 years old, wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it was very special for him. He has to be there.
Yeah, I must thank everybody for letting me speak today as well. It's been a great honor. I'm sorry I couldn't speak on Yom HaZikaron. We were in Yerushalayim. Rabbi very kindly invited me to speak, and unfortunately we weren't able to do so. And, thank you very much for letting us have the opportunity of speaking and sharing our thoughts.
Okay, it's 5 to 7. Mincha is in 5 minutes. So, gentlemen, to put your talit and tefillin on. Ladies, you can do the same if you like. Don't quote me on that, please. I'm not sure who it was that enabled me to record, but thank you very much. If you could unrecord, that would be good too, please. Thank you both.